we received more head of states and presidents. Because it was Ghana, your biggest ceremony and historic democratic history, and then as a country being the first country originating African Union, etc. Until 50th year anniversary, we had quite a number. But inauguration ceremony of an incoming president elected, I think this is the most biggest.
This is the most biggest?
Yes, of course, undoubtedly. Internal, you are right.
All right.
Now, you are asking, say, why and how?
Yes.
Okay, so this is how it works. On the African continent, Ghana is a part of international community, and for that matter, African continent. And a very important member of the African Union.
Yes.
And it's a country of Africa. Now, you're in president. The news goes on. First and foremost, African Union are aware. So African Union, in most cases, more platforms are put you through the African Union platforms. That's diplomatic platform of the African Union. Informing the African Union of Ghana's inauguration ceremony. And the African Union ankasa ever represented with some precedents. But then, of course, some of them take excuses. No man the prime minister, man the foreign minister, no man aba. And on the African continent now, you have 4 blocks, but there were 6 regions of the African Union. You were the North Africans, and you were the East African community, East African states, and you were the ECOWAS, and you were the SADC, that is the Southern African states, and you were the Central African republics, and Sana you were the seed region of the Africa, and you had the African Union Diaspora Forum, which is seen as also a region. On the African continent. Now, African Union meaning the number of countries are so the African Union might have come with about 6 or 7 or 8 delegations, and willingly per the country, willingly per the president in our urban country, the love, the friendship of Wamabia Ghana, all the friendship or need the incoming president in the war. So in this case, President Mahama had been a president of Republic of Ghana before. He has been 6 years president, more or less, and then now coming back, our friends, our government, and our friends, our share, your former president's crown baby.
Yes, Olusegun Obasanjo baby, good luck Jonathan.
Exactly, Olusegun, any Jonathan, a best friend of.
And I think Jacob Zuma also about.
Yes, so that is the case. And the African Union didn't call for by. Central African didn't call for by. And then ECOWAS also represented as ECOWAS bloc. Or represented as ECOWAS bloc, some countries AB will be chosen by the ECOWAS community. So some countries we more represented, now more attended Ghana swearing-in ceremony. Besides that, your presidents be a ha. Also the friend of President Mahama. So they decided to come. If even they were not part.
I see.
And the invitation, those ones that comes from the bloc, and those ones that come from the personal invitation of His Excellency President Mahama.
I see.
SADC, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Namibia, Mozambique, Angola, and then Zambia, Lesotho, and then also Swatini, and those countries. Omunina SADC community so Emma SADC represent here. But then the president that came, some came as a result and as at the instance of SADC. But some of them also came at the instance of the president-elect himself.
I see.
Central Africa, the same thing.
I see.
Now, the interesting scenario, presidents in a Bayern, some of them did not come because Ghana as a country also would invite.
Yes.
But then when Ghana invite her, up to the receiving countries, so Ombaba and now Onoma. Into blocks, Ayom introduction, the African Union Ayom introduction. The country Ghana would also send invitation.
Okay.
Na ebi baba ebi ma. But generally what I saw and what I've known and what I noticed was that good number of the guys, President Sombano, they were presidents, they were friends of the president.
The president. I see.
Elect.
I see.
And some of the invitations, were invitations originated, listen to me once again, by the president-elect and his team. Not the country Republic of Ghana, in the case of Goodluck.
Oh, I see.
Goodluck, a former president. There's a sitting Nigerian president.
Yes.
So he couldn't have been.
Yeah,
but he's a statesman.
Yes.
Olusegun Obasanjo, he would have maybe on an African states, maybe an African Union, and then but on his own, so by at the instance of the invitation from the president-elect.
But isn't it also surprising to see a coup d'etat president and as a military officer in the case of Burkina Faso, so ultimately attended a fashion like this?
What is wrong with that?
Well, I mean, so why are you cool? He's not an elected president.
Why are you cool? Okay, stand there. You want to go to school?
Yes, I mean, why not?
He's a head of state.
Yes.
Head of state, former, informer, either coup or elected. He represents a certain country called Burkina Faso.
Yes, sure.
As a head of state.
Yes. Yes.
So, why was he invited? Ono, Pediasi Declaration 1, Declaration 2, Declaration 3. His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and the Ghana and the ECOWAS. Declarations of Pediasi 1 and 2 and are turning the table of Burkina Faso. Say Omunka African Union, ECOWAS Hubium.
I see.
Oma suspend you. Right?
Yes.
The declaration 1 not suspended Dumboya.
Yes.
Of Guinea.
Yes.
And the declaration 2 suspended Assimi Goïta of Mali. And the 3 suspended Damiba.
Okay.
Paul Henry Santiago Damiba, Burkina Faso.
Yes.
On the Captain Traoré.
Yeah.
But then Captain Traoré ni Damibano, you can't call it that a coup d'etat. It was a change of regime.
Okay.
A palace coup.
Okay.
The boss no. And on any coup. And the coup the two Kabori. The two Kabori no.
And on those two.
The two Kabori no. The junta's mission was that ye caught near mercenaries. Ye caught near you for Akokun, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and Sawad and Sadin. All the rebels and the terrorist group are all pretty Burkina. But omnia power new took Kabori ma Kabori Johnny Yeno. And Paul Henry Santiago Damiba. The ideals and philosophy ideologies are the kuno. Na undiso. So he was turning back to the French.
Oh, I see.
To behave the same way like Kabori was doing. So the boy also had a formation. Ibiasida, SMC1, SMC2, which is Kutu a champion, and then FWK a Kufu.
Yeah.
Do you understand me?
Yes.
It was something like that. Now, what I say, I didn't coup d'etat. Your friend is a coup d'etat leader, and I said,
yes.
Why military regime? Let me put it on record. The reason God will firm Semeba and the normal circumstances.
Yeah, sure.
Once throughout the electioneering year,
yes.
I don't grant interviews. I try to stay neutral in some cases. But I think, say, too much pollution in the air. So we must set it straight.
The record
we must set a lot of record straight in this particular studio.
Yes.
Weapon.
Yeah.
The same seat. That is why I decided to come here and set this record straight. And that is how it is.
Okay.
The United Nations of the congregation of 178 countries is the International Democratic Forum, congregation of all democratic governments and the governments of the world, with Secretary General of the UN, Awatiho. How many of the African leaders in the 80s, in the 90s, we had as many as almost 24 African leaders who were all wearing military uniforms into the UN General Assembly chamber.
Wow.
Jerry Rawlings, back to back, 19-year rule, or UN General Assembly with uniform 11 years. Sani Abacha, or UN General Assembly with military uniform. Obasanjo, or UN General Assembly, all throughout his government, until say Buhari ni Idi Agbon too, they were also going to the UN General Assembly. Majority as there.
Yeah, sure.
Now, Nigeria, Abacha, Olusegun Obasanjo, Buhari, Omunyina no mko UN General Assembly. What about Habre? What about Lassana Conte? What about Lamizana? Majority as there.
Yes.
Chad, Niger, Burkina Faso had a military leader, was Blaise Compaoré. Oko UN General Assembly for how many times? At that time, Sierra Leone, Valentine Srasa, 25 years, with Saj Musa, 23 years. They were going to UN General Assembly with military uniform.
Oh.
John Jerry Rawlings went with military uniform.
Yeah.
Sierra Leone had a military leader. Guinea had a military leader. Guinea-Bissau, they had military leader. Omar Bashir, Central African Republic, Bongi. All this at that time, Obiako UN General Assembly, plus what about the Latin Americans? What about the Caribbeans? Cuba, Fidel Castro, almost Oko UN General Assembly without, with any suit, or with military uniform. The observer to the UN General Assembly, Yasser Arafat, or the uniform, and called uniform that visited Clinton, White House.
Oh.
Back to back military uniform.
I see.
There is no way all those professors and then lecturers, security experts in Omka said, were you a democratic president? And didn't know ma kwame the military no country we in our governance system. How many military leaders have ruled this country longer than democratic?
Yes, absolutely.
Yet Ghana every time is one of the countries in Africa that spoke on the UN podium with a military uniform. So it is not a crime, it is not bad that the gentleman came here with his uniform. Ogel, Ogel of Gabon,
yes, Gabon,
he decided to wear. Ogel did not come because he was from Central Africa. Ogel came because he's a friend, coach me, of President Mahama.
Oh.
So at the instance of the president, he came.
I see.
Don't forget, I have coordinated with Osei J of Ministry of Foreign Affairs,
yes,
former foreign minister,
yes,
when His Excellency Nana Dankwa was sworn in 7th January. The same way, I stood in as the liaison officer coordinating for the Republic of Ghana.
Oh, okay. And
then Osei J stood in for Ghana. We received him, the president. There are a lot of things we don't have time. So now let's come back to why Traore's issue had become an issue.
Yes.
Ebi said, Ukra Gan.
Yes, or the two
yeah. What are we talking about here? We're talking about people are reading regular security intelligence. About your cyber security near here. We are talking about diplomatic security. Diplomacy has its own intelligence. Diplomacy has its own security. And I'm putting on record. Diplomacy is not about anybody's social illustrations.
Okay.
It's not about anybody's intelligence. It's not about anybody's assumption. It's not about anybody's presumptions. And it's not about anybody's feelings. Diplomacy is a principle. Diplomacy is a standard. Diplomacy deals with objectivity.
Okay.
Diplomacy deals with subjectivity.
Oh, it deals with objectivity and subjectivity.
So you must be subjective, a topical subject. You must be an objective. That this is it. Okay. This object.
I see.
Yes. And it goes not with anybody's feelings. So what we saw, and it said, 6 January 2025, 11:59 p.m., Ghana Air swear in new parliament.
Yeah.
His Excellency Nanado Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the regime comes to an end soon as the parliament of his republic, of his government is dissolved.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, sure.
So 59 p.m., who mounts into the podium? The Ghana presidency goes back to the Chief Justice. Because parliament is to dissolve.
No speaker.
No speaker.
Yes.
So within an hour, President of the Republic of Ghana, interim, at that time, Chief Justice. Chief Justice moved to be a president of Ghana until 1 hour or 1.5 hours. In between that time, no, office clerk, the clerk of the parliament, induction, roll call, and mentioning of the incoming members of parliament, swearing in those who are going to swear in on the 9th. Chief Justice, you know, never swear parliamentarians in the speaker.
Yeah, sure.
So between that time, no, Ghana president, Chief Justice.
Okay.
Or swear in Speaker of Parliament, Aban Bagbin around 12:1 thereabout. I stand to be corrected on the time, around 1:30. Ghana president goes back to Aban Bagbin.
Yes.
So Aban Bagbin at that time becomes the Ghana president. From that time until 12:30 p.m. or 11:30 p.m. or 11 p.m. Sorry, a.m. Kopim say your best way new president.
Okay.
So this is the catch. Burkina Faso guy, 36-year-old boy, he's super intelligent. Who are the people sitting there? Tinubu was there.
Yeah, Tinubu was there, yeah.
ECOWAS has declared him not a member. They later wanted to warm themselves to him diplomatically. Wama Antiase, Oma Formu Sahel, into Adane Hoso. If the guy had come to Ghana around 11:52 p.m. on the seat, Nanajo can cage him in. I'm not saying that he was going to do that. But his security, they can withdraw and expose him to his enemies.
Oh, I see.
So he's not stupid.
I see.
He was not a friend of Ghana. He's a neighbor of Ghana.
Yeah.
But because ECOWAS declaration to reject him and move his country out of ECOWAS was originated from Accra. So he sees Ghana.
I don't need meetings on me and Wahab Muslim.
Peduasi 1, 2, 3.
Oh, I see.
And the guy is not stupid.
Interesting.
And to make it sure, sir, the presidency was not in the hands of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. I'm not saying, sir, Nana Beyeni Bibi, but we're talking about a trust, faith, and salvation.
Interesting.
Interesting. So I'm not inside. What time did he come? Go and check.
Yeah, I remember because as at 7th in the morning, Namibisa omo protocols they said say afe na Burkina Faso president Eba.
So let me take you and the public through. In the time na Obamuno, Gabon leader and Obabe died.
Yeah.
He didn't have any problem.
Yeah, sure.
But when no time na Obamuno, one, there's what is called diplomatic protocol of a visiting head of state or visiting president. I want a security person or my bone or one person.
Yeah, security person.
So from someone when I'm interview or my bone person say, so we invite president head of state. No bababia, your friend be diplomatic protocols.
Okay.
Security protocols. Entry protocols.
Okay.
And he said, the who host you no. And no obano or the checklist at the baba.
Okay.
The diplomatic checklist of the visit, and he said, may the head of state, head of the delegation, head of state, in this case, Captain Traore, may the 19 soldiers armed, weapon carrying, a trainer de banner, the AK-47 4, you had the Brent 5, you had the Kafrenikov 8, pistols, assault rifles, etc. 9.
I see.
And Nipa 13 and the Beshe military uniform, Ekura guns.
In the bag or exposed?
Exposed.
Oh, I see.
Send the protocols or the abanono.
Yes.
Then the team, the government or the president-elect that is hosting him, also saw your validation.
Okay.
Now, no, national security. And for that matter, a military, you deal with the Air Force. You deal with near flight ban or deba. Or some of the commercial jet, but in the case of the Burkina guy, cleverly, or the military jet nearby. So the military jet nearby, on team packet our commercial side.
Okay.
That's what the flight in BC Air Force.
Oh.
Now Air Force was kind of flight, No, I sure said, whilst he's out of the aircraft, Obeja 10 or 15 military men manning or guiding the aircraft.
Oh.
No, my drop room or flight, Pilots, and then the co-pilot, and then the air hostess, Omusia, cabin crew for Nisia, straight away to hotel. Then the military take over with the Ghana military. No more did that flight. And Burkina Faso, Oban and Shai Krano, need to than in chain. Or share flights in Okopim send the president. Now, or your military leader, and in the protocols, Ghana Army or Air Force have to make sure his security. President Mahama, His Excellency, has been a president. When your protocols for the Baba Breast on your TV say he has shared with them. And he knows.
Yeah.
So the transitioning team might not know, but the president knows. Now, it's your normal or say, I'll go through principal streets of Accra Airport, direct route. You don't just get up and say, so then
sure.
So your advanced protocol, motorcade, obedi car scanning up to the Independence Square. And make sure, say, Trotrobian says you cancel. Burkina Faso leader is spending 12 minutes from the Air Force. Opiano, Edia Wanko, VVIP launch.
I don't know your Ghana security.
Ghana security on the
security. Okay.
On no bachelor.
Oh, okay.
Into our uncle baby straight away Oba Independence Square.
Oh.
Now that is how he's gonna enter. Oba and as he did, Oba V-shaped security. Oh, na Ushebe to one who they watch it. V-shaped security.
Oh, me Fabajabaso.
Our soldiers bear 5, 6, 7 or ha.
Yes.
Or bear 6, 7 or ha.
Yes.
Obia with weapon.
Yes.
What I said.
Yes.
Then he blocked the V at the back. No abedi infin, so he's the arrow man. And he has decided not to drop the car. Baby, our president,
Yeah, that's true.
Yes,
that's true.
Did he do that?
Yes.
It's part of his protocol.
Yes.
Into Oba walk 100 meters or 150 meters, so they can have clarity.
Interesting.
Why? Because our enemies.
Yeah.
Echo as enemy. Tinubu your enemy. Why? Because Tinubu French, pro-French.
Interesting.
His Excellency Nanado, pro-French, but only the any picture anymore. It does not mean say we are afraid. Say obi betima becheno. Say the enya security officials in Biaka say expert von be say Argentina ukretu Argentina Eden. One, and the public should notice. It could have been say on a Republic of Ghana government, not Ghana government, President Mahama. I agree. And they have scanned them say tuen kura toy guns. But there is what is called presidential signature, and there's what is called presidential brand.
Okay.
What makes Traore, his brand of dress, his coat of dress, his signature of dress. Wama President Mahama here, any security couple no manage president say, or the person babon ho. Me no me ni anko person could be a toy person.
You need to mean
and I'm say person no cry bibia ni ammunition.
Sure.
But to send a signal that this is the way I go to places. President Pacho Minian better measure hand gloves. Minian measure hand gloves. Meba, this is the way I'm entering into the podium. Other presidency in Atra care won't be see anymore.
Yes, of the other side.
Over the other side. The security protocol.
Yes.
And why any V-shaped entry. It is done by KGB.
I see.
To monitor and to guide Putin. No.
Interesting.
It is done by Israeli Mossad.
Wow.
Israel Prime Minister acquired Israel for a V-shape plus. Not Prime Minister initiative. Where covered or way now these are special forces are snipers.
Okay.
They didn't come and joke. Aunt Naho, Emma Burkina, a country from almost day one of independence 1960. Oma you coup d'etat, go and check Burkina democratic elected presidents.
Sure.
Oma you could become you coup 2 days. Obia a prime head of state 2 days, a 10 days, a 17 days. And to him say, now, before so Babanada have been the coup, and when him say, Damiba, at Togo Heya, and they could harm him whilst he's coming or whilst he's leaving, not on the podium of the descent. And President had agreed with him, say, yes, Oba, bra.
Okay.
Protocols on President Mama, Nina Delia.
Oh, okay.
And in Pacho, the public listening.
Wow.
President Mama is not ordered by any law. Say on country obi say no any Burkina Faso leader neighbor. He's aware already what the boy is coming. Obacha say will true right. Obaba bako left and bako bebo ni now. This is how I'm going to enter. Now people did not read meaning into how the boy went into the podium. Oba and of force. There are two things. We call it where diplomacy meets culture.
Yes, where diplomatic meets culture. Okay.
A conjuncture of the two. The boy exhibited the two. Very intelligent guy.
Yes.
He went to the podium and straight away to the vice president. And then the Burkina culture. How many tribal settings know Burkina? half of Burkina population, they are Moshis. They have Fulani.
Okay.
They have the Gurinzi. They have the Mende. They have other tribes. He's a Moshi boy. In the Moshi culture, which we have the same thing in the Ghanaian North. So when you are going to greet a woman who can be your mother, you take off your cap.
Oh, move video no enter honomo so that we can all relate to it. Yes.
And taking off your cap, you take off with the left. You don't take off with the right. It's an insult. So he took off the cap with his left.
With his left. Wow.
And then stretch out. That's diplomacy with the right. And have a handshake with her. Please. Uncle Hagen say any mommy and aunt and family member ko wie and you no ko be Hagen. But do Hagen ka Ghana for baka say boy no pay vice president.
Also kra na bia so da.
Wako Hagen no. And no be another story.
Interesting.
On my diplomatic handshake. O move wie no who was still the president of the Republic of Ghana is already declared. But then who had been the interim president
that is
our receive no. He came here when Abambagwin was the president of Ghana. So he went to Abambagwin. But then, of course, I didn't know Chi Obanwe no. Or Sadeni Chenche. Or the Chenche said, he's a head of state of a country. He's wearing his cap. This is how he dressed.
Okay.
So Otuni Chenche Abambagwin is against diplomacy. He has lowered Burkina Faso to Ghana.
Oh.
And head of state and head of state. Vatican head of state is Pope, Holy See.
Wow.
On chain Ibrahim Traore. On chain Bassirou Faye of Senegal. Every head of state or head of government, all of them are the same. With the same power. It doesn't matter so a Russia president or Chinese president. In just ordinary Chinese share back. Whoever who be our kokro ya hwanyu.
Or no your pet.
Or no your pet. In terms of the president, age there is a number.
But in the case of the vice president or your bad year, your culture.
Oh man, no culture. That's culture meeting diplomacy.
Interesting.
The boy existed.
Interesting.
Me, my whole, but I clap for him. I know what was going to happen.
But I was also standing right before, so I was observing, but I'm in Tiasi.
That is it.
Interesting.
Okochi ani wiye no, oko president no, na ne cheshe no. One kasa as president, Mama will put it, is my young brother. So beautiful. Oya ni young brother no, say Okochi president Mama no, went to nature.
That we went to nature because then they pet.
And then they pet. Now another interesting scenario people were talking about Ghana born home. Kwame Nkrumah kura walking stick. Sekutore okura walking stick.
Yes.
Mobutu Sese Seko okura walking stick. Kenneth Kaunda no okura walking stick. Eyadema no okura walking stick. Between you and I and all of us in the public listing, security experts Muntie, walking stick. A lot of them are guns. Omar Bashir and the walking stick, and it was a gun.
Oh, I see.
Sanya gun, cry walking stick. May God forbid. A crown or you win it. Any true before so obey her or be armono near this armono. Then they dangerous. In Tinka, Travel by and no cry walking sticker. And Kabakas and need weapon. It's dangerous more than even the gun.
I see.
And nobody knows whether he had ammunition in the gun or it was a toy gun. I wanted the Hiamo, near Timanya, professors, lecturers, Ghana security experts, Timika Mujina Political Science School, a lecture and cry said it was even wrong. So the military uniform, a bad democratically elected president swearing in. And I've told you and I've educated you, say, even the congregation of the United Nations General Assembly, they were wearing more than 35 military uniforms. Mexico for Georgescu of Romania. He was a military leader.
I see.
Or called UN Chamber with military uniform. What about the Peru? What about the Ecuador? What about El Salvador? What about the Colombiana? What about Papua New Guinea? All of them were military leaders in the 90s, etc. But they come to the UN Chamber with military uniform. So please, let's get it clear. So I'm crying out, mutual diplomacy, I'm not to a church. So lecture biaba, no baba culture will say. Democratically elected president, you have a military uniform coach and catch and say UN Secretary General, you have the military uniform chairman.
I see.
I've cleared that part of it.
Yeah, sure.
So the guy came.
No, but before you proceed, Mami who said this same scenario, yeka wasem ebiesi dana.
say obi president bi kura kwacha obi now you be because it is even extreme for anybody to imagine. It's extreme
because President Kufuor, in the case of President Kufuor and President Bush.
Yes. Remember how?
Okay.
President Bush visit to President Kufuor. I did.
Okay.
Some works.
Oh, okay.
Protocols at the airport.
Yes.
So
I'm interested because related to this.
President Kufuor is alive.
Yes,
sure. Sir, American for checklist. And no protocol, diplomatic protocols. Diplomatic protocols, I've said, is not about any ordinary security intelligence. The diplomatic protocols is something I've said is based on principles and agreements. Or the checklist by American for the old reading we could have. What are some of them? President Kufuor kweshia George Bush, that one was okay. Or call a culture assembly, or the nekwae US or bar, radar control, flight, radar control, America for take over. Munko Ghana Civil Aviation go.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
How?
Two hours before the flight of US President Obama, Clinton, Bush, Ebesa Ghana, within 2 hours, they will instruct the country Ghana as part of the protocol agreement. Say, yeah, my plane, there, my Ghana airspace.
Wow.
And then the West Africa, Ghana, your radar control, no kwa de, Jeremy yadie, Ghana for yadie. Your radar control in Timukwa could do Lagos, Nigeria for the intimate do her. Your radar control, Chem Wagadugu.
I see.
A Chem Cote d'Ivoire. In America, for another Tenasroho, making sure said there's a total clearance in the air. President Kufuor signing and I won't sign it. Minya Kake here, no sign it, checklist one, no take it. Or the 2 aircraft, one backup. President India need the second to land, but the first one to land on the Air Force backup. But Obetiasiana, no take it. Or Air Force, say Nampesu America before I saw Babahano, now the Marines about 3 months ahead of the visit in Umbidi Ukrumha. I exercise, security exercise. I come ya for a yinina, your airport or baby. Omu no maba. Hotels or high buildings across Oma cultures including the tower of the airport.
Oh.
Yes, part of the agreements. He's no more president, so I can speak on the subject. So if it was a president, President Kufuor giving in. It is called agreement diplomatic agreements of diplomacy. What he has said, do visit also of the visit agreements of the visit. Meba or call Castle Osu. American Judy President Kufuor nearby name the security protocols. They say United States President or call African country. Enye UK no call, enye Germany, enye bia omo settings ni di no. E bia na President Kufuor kura nim. And say obi meham ye mienu no. We will scan the executive wing and the offices. So the president have to step out from his office.
Oh.
Near move and krama na kum.
How? Why?
Service dogs.
Why?
Or scanning for omo bi enu nyina.
President it's your no office. Now all receive another president from outside. Is he a movie president now or no host president in the office? Now camera was scanning her.
When I'm going to say we delay what is called emotions. Diplomacy has got nothing to do with emotions.
Interesting. I mean,
diplomacy has got nothing to do with feelings. Diplomacy has nothing to do with social illustration. They're all kind of a combination of social illustrations and emotions.
Interesting.
And then what you call it expectations. Diplomacy has got no expectations. We are talking about subject, object, principle, and then standard practice. Do you understand standard practice? Also, President Kufuor, me ba ne bia no bibi kwa no bi power you bibi. Enti agye ni say me enu na be save. Kodwon pianim office, come on, get out. Obi abepie, yes, scanning obi a.
Wow.
Executive wing bia na nkrama na ba out. No ma be certify. O wa sheki the service commander of the dogs. Akre ansa na president ko say wuji so mu di agro. Omu wi ya no. 2 days visit. Abrabo George Bush called one country President Kufuor. Or I may offer. Now, Mumisa say George Bush called part of the protocols I assigning here. Now, Obian to me find a new share the direction of President Bush and President Kufuor right from the VVIP launch.
Oh, why?
That time, so what you say, immigration boss, near friend Matthias, he was there.
Okay.
Colonel, the coordinator, security coordinator of Ghana Aviation International Airport, Kotoka, Onukaya Manengurum. I entered, but I'm the security. Let's get the fuck out of here. Come on, get out. Sergeant on duty, no control. Oma take over Ghana VVIP. What did we do? Obia ojina hobia, mo journalists who check it, mo search. Journalists they don't go go anwaka tipa truck. And the DC tamak no so. Yes, scanning wo cameras you and the dome nyina kini KG wo and the Marines you try wo share. They were the people who were having a site. President Kofoni and the ministers so dome ko nyina no. Everybody has to turn around. President and his wife, Bush and his wife, they were the people working on the red carpet. Time now, all where Muna or Babesini Akofani can the beast before he goes to join the aircraft. Now Ghana Culture Assembly, Omo Bokiti, and when you receive no problem, Mama, all corner ye Bokiti no, Edijano Quino, now US Army, John Boy, or call baby on Bokiti no, they spend music for coordinator, a friend Bapia, or what my friend Musan said, me say, because I was there. Omo bonyum and crying sa gregre na kwano kramano say they have to scan the drums na kramana ko say drums you know say bush bantum ko touch na ya mono new drums e dey na abo na mpeke cent ni ye abo ni shake drum be 2 US Army or fight twene no de sika wo mu say bra say you know putu twene ni 2 get out for out of here move free move am twene ni free onko.
Interesting.
It was part and agreements of the protocols. Said they make sure say, Omo yomo juma, Omo say Omo. Now some security aspect said, then you know officer grab chroma now. You don't know about security. You don't know diplomatic security, diplomatic intelligence. Don't talk. Now I tell you, and when him there buy, Anna, Obia share outside. Only journalists kakra na KG omo and omjia no mo hwe. Even George Bush, President Kufuor no kwai mumusa President Mama, mumusa former president bia o belts red carpet ruru bia o the host nkwa udu. Udu a no agina ho. Na watene Bush, also no nye diplomatic.
Yeah, sure.
And you know onante basabasa.
Yeah.
The coordinator was a sergeant. Or chair President Kufuor and round the news in or Shaton, stand there, Mr. President. No, Jinaho, because we're State Department, they are monitoring him from America. And we're Jinaho, and we're walking in. American president does not go in front of the car to sit, you go through the back.
Okay.
Into a call back, you know. Jinaho, on Tinaka and Munku be done, some said, will be a bre, na president, na, was no more than who dare you, American. Omo mani Jinaho. Then the coordinator through his ears, State Department is watching. 1, 2, 3 instructions. Bush tracker and muno so ni muno atwe or the insert na pampa mu akana shem.
Oh.
O tran ka ni mu ya na bisin 2 year no. Eko tamak ro enya president Kufuor enya na nkoju clean na no. Ka ne na di ni free ho e na de no ko e. Into a full staircase ni wi an wagina soro wa wevu. And look, we've not checked around your back cannon start to form. You push him in. After will be to me down any. I'm out for a general about 45 minutes and if you're dying. Do you understand what is called diplomatic protocol?
Papa,
I mean, that's a job. When Nanado swear in, the Gabonese president by on record. His Excellency Nanado government and inviting Odimba Omabongo. When we had the protocols, the checklist, any agreements, I did the Gabon part, or say the Ghana part.
Oh, okay.
The president was built to go and rest from airport. Our Kempiski, Yamane.
Okay.
But now Gabonese students, because no free election then chair, no position for Jean-Pierre. Jamaican Chinese now or contesting. All the students are big Kempiski, discrediting the presence, and I picked that intelligence. So we decided not to bring the president to Kempinski for that humiliation. I, coach me, and after surgery, I took Prestige apartments, opposite Korea Embassy, at the back of police headquarters. A president, I'm Kwaji House, and I ground floor. And from airport now, arrival ceremony in New Year, straight away, they catch a motor rider, near decided, and we informed the national security, we informed the Presidential Protection Force, say Gabonese president in our Kempinski, Bayam Fanenko. This is why we are going, so they should be on alert. Straight away, I didn't call Prestige. What did they mention? Now, from Prestige, straight away, we are bringing him to the podium. We are podium no. Once the president yesterday in Rio, Oko International Conference Center, no receive, no I tete another proper official handshake, no more wishing well. Then agreement with Ghana and what I'd signed was that President Honor, two from the
Honor Ghana,
Derby, Honor. The security coordinator was a Chinese man. Okachem's Al on Dopa is usually on Valley, on the party. They are not sleeping here, they will go. So that one was known. We communicate to the Ghana government, say Gabonese government will seek a passage after greeting the president post swearing in. In the the co-chair president in New back into his car. We have the detailed other cars, convoy cars in the line straight away. But the 30 contingent and the Adenia these are certain protocols, sir. It has nothing to do with anybody who claims to be a cyber security expert. No. Ambajo Uchemi. Obiako, Nigeria, Aso Rock to visit, to go to Nigerian presidency. It's a lot of women.
Yeah.
What bones the mama woman? The kind of processes that you go, the kind of security tubes I be going through. Yani adini amagudi agra birthday party cry near president no maba no abesa because it's a calm country, it's a peaceful country.
Yeah, sure.
It's me. Not that we stand there no. So be baha. Now ba say enya country ni na invite no. Trawe enya Ghana na invite no. President Mahama na invite no. He was coming because of President Mahama. Yeah. He didn't come because of Republic of Ghana. Into a friend. And President Mahama had assured, say, or establish diplomatic relations, which is the very thing. On pay, ni neighbors so no more problems. Or saying in one union, problem or how solve because our trade bilateral and our culture, our tribal settings, you know, in our border. But what I say? We've spoken about President Kufuor name Edison. Obama Bahano, Oko Cape Coast. So be who the entourage or the Cape Coast. Now American soldiers nearby no. Why no own create you? Marine for no ebi okroma deda, but we don't buy in they were gun wielding army marines. Oh. And no move president no. Now mention Obama buy among call Holiday Inn Hotel. Me, I say things and give references so that you can check. Omuba and Holiday Inn Hotel, that was camouflage place where the president was supposed to sleep. Oh. A dummy place.
I see.
But no in a safe house.
Oh, okay.
They can't safe house. Will be our here, you know. They understand. Sure. Not in a safe house, American for him so better.
Oh, okay.
Do you get it?
But now you're Holiday Inn.
The Holiday Inn Hotel. Floor 1, floor 2, floor 3, up to 5th floor. Room 509. That also they gave Americans gave to Ghana. Say room imagine the Obama no 509 ho no koda. Monko Holiday Inn Hotel go business or die. Obeda ho. Obano the whole Holiday Inn Hotel so you know omo 5. And no
even when he's not sleeping there.
Oh, so we don't miss Obabeda. They create the dummy. And no first floor. And no second floor. No dey nkrama and gumu. Nkrama. America's sniffer dogs. Service security dogs, FBI, CIA, come and be about FBI agent, a CIA agent, a be a SSS, state security agents. Omunina baby, Omun number that anymore, or first second floor, and no seal of the staircase, and no seal of the elevator, up to the 5th floor.
Interesting.
And then they put Ghana national security, and of course some of them were BNIs, to mix up with them. Also to have a blend of the local settings.
Yeah, sure.
The American still are on traso. Into Ghana security kwa de be ma no o be sa scan o pocket. Asa no mo no akọ post.
Echinanko.
Wa ma unkra tu.
Bibi di truosu.
O ma unkra tu.
Wow.
Obama, me so mo je dan holiday in hotel. 2 floors no man krama dem. E no mo je top. Until say American president free the airspace of Ghana. And so a sniper a phone kwan no omu free ho. Radar control no omu free ho. They make sure that the president is out of the airspace of Ghana. And so no marines in omu radar control a monitors no. And so no omu see from that another president in no call. Then they have the other way omu so be follow no.
I see.
That is how the security protocols and then the intelligence protocols. So there's a difference between diplomatic intelligence protocols and then ordinary security protocols. These are what and it's not about somebody's own expectations. But what they are saying.
Yes. Matthias, but during the swearing-in ceremony,
yes,
you could observe after so Okuchia Ibrahim Okuchia. I don't know if I should call the then president or
already a president of Ghana.
No, me can't speaker.
Yes.
Speaker Nyadaje Church Burkina where the Church Ghana for said they are men of brave men and what have you.
So, no,
yes, so now other countries were Musa. And all the other 21 heads of states now would say the other side and I could see say Ibrahim Mukono, I don't recall so Chiao. He didn't shake hands with them.
The ECOWAS leaders,
yes,
the African Union, they claim to have a problem with the boy because a coup, but he's not the only person to have staged a coup.
Oh, okay.
And you can't say no more problem. There is what is called maybe irregular friendship. And a boy in Subai, and he's concentrating on his country. He's only been out to Russia and been to Ghana.
Oh,
and you know, no about business. Well, a serious person. So this is what the guy came in. He came in with energy.
Yes.
He came in with charisma. He came in with diplomatic intelligence. Very resolute. Very respectful. But then he came in as a soldier. That's what they say.
Yeah, sure.
So you saw him say he's very energetic. Oh yeah. Very enthusiastic about what he's doing. Very, very smart on what he's doing. And then he carried the country Burkina and the youthful exuberance and the expectations of Burkina who were watching him. So he goes into any other country with the same bravery.
Oh, I see.
And that is what I said.
I see.
The signature. Go ahead.
And unfortunately, V-shape Nana Okano.
Yes.
I could see in the military, Tama not crowd.
Yes.
Now Ebinumujina one side and the other side.
That is you. That's one you call it. When you they gave him U-shape.
Oh.
I was saying no team
yeah, sure.
Until they cover the back.
Oh, okay.
No man
so maybe
yes, of course, the U-shape. They themselves, they don't go ma ceremony nibi.
And they were carrying bags.
They have detonators. Wow. They have detonators. Bag look as home to say other president to another bag no. There be one accountable impress. It was so. The BP drops. They call us. Cholesterol drug gumu no. Onu me prostate drug. Onu cholesterol. The BP gumu na da de senti. Na e become bag ne kra no. Adro nkra. What is the mention?
But quite interesting to know. They move away from the swearing in Nayemra, the State of the Nation's address. I mean, the president's security or collapse here.
Yes.
Abrana, the president, Emma, the State of the Nation's address.
Yes.
At that point in time, or collapse here, we could see some pages. In fact, so I could see the reaction of some of the medical team, which to me it wasn't the best. Few minutes later, it took about more than 3-4 minutes, and Sana, the vice president security, the police service, General President Chief. Then over 10 minutes, and the assassin so Jennifer Fra over replacing one dressing to say the president's security guard. What is that security implication all about? Okay, so one, I've said and I repeat again, a joking paradise. Oh, Ghana is a joking paradise. Okay, because on him say Parliament, I want a heart attack. Parliament in the world. Wow. Heart attack. Politicians, more HBP patients, baby, cholesterol patients, baby, and any serious nation. Parliament, including the oldest parliament in the world, which is Iceland, they introduced parliament in the Nordic. Almost every serious nation parliament, American Congress, American Senate, US, UK, lower, upper chambers, etc. They make sure there's a standby emergency physician, a standby medical team. They are not shown, but they have their room and they are there. Yeah.
But what they say?
Yeah, sure.
It should not take more than a minute.
Not more than a minute?
Not more than a minute for them to walk in the chamber. Because parliamentarian will be called to an act of shock.
Yeah, sure.
But what they say? And you're Nigerian for Senate now. Say, Ubia di Bonnie, and I say, calling Senator to no down. And you're Nubia. In a proper worst case scenario, organic.
Okay.
So the moment that the man obi a cracker say and now no so jenino all call from one who's oba betiato and a wanka there say obi no BP so when you HBP high blood pressure or the then will beat him, he's not in control of himself.
Yeah, sure.
I'll bet him saying Benya BP president Nana Adwani Somu, the president would have held him. So the president was even this,
no,
he didn't know.
Were in the
That's
first
what
place.
I mean.
Until the reaction from the members of parliament
Public,
and then my president telling it. And quickly, first person who began to call Katie Hammond.
At that time, now medical team, boy.
It took about
but
3 minutes.
Any serious nation, if Ghana is not a joking paradise, but they see anything, His Excellency President Mama is your regime now. We don't talk about what is in the past. It is your duty to make sure that thing is fixed. Honorable Ambagwen, it is your duty to make sure that Parliament will have a standby medical team with defibrillators, with shockers, certified nurse, certified physician on the budget of what? Parliament. Our mobile Parliament 24 hours.
Now, so no munya a water tender, a fire tender cressy honomo, maybe credit.
So much you know, ya bompa ya hontienshi. What I say? And team emergency situation. And now can how it took how many minutes and San will be baba. That is where and how we say in a situation of a country that does not take security at a certain level, with essence, with seriousness, and that is where. Assuming, that's not what I'm trying to say, but possibility said, say guy no fake here, and no what external motive, and no more group be something to distort the attention of the parliament, including the president. And to time like a pandemonium reactions, before saying another chin and nanki abachin kodadada.
But CDS, that's CDS it's here demo. And IGP so say the other side.
Yes, IGP tell me it take an IGP to jump into the forum. Only chief of defense staff. It take how many minutes?
Oh, but no more to what that.
Thank you, and I'm chair say. They are all their duty. Yes, their duty. They are also part.
Yes, sure.
Of the Presidential Protection Force at that level. One would have seen say Sebi Brunia Komkra no bedi ka rashi. What are they supposed to do? Man, who said, Obi, they're supposed to quickly go and round
the president.
Yes, sir. He was the first person to be protected because it could have been a fake.
Yeah.
It could have been a stage. It could have been anything else.
And could they have also moved him out of the podium?
Exactly, you moved him out from the podium. Nana was standing there waiting to continue and read.
Yes. And then
and they didn't take the president to him.
And nobody also nobody paid attention.
And then I'm sure say Colombia Latin America and come papa ne de no koi.
Oh, I see.
That's what I say.
Yes.
When you speak at home, when you're president is when you're chief of staff or family and send you are one aka. The next in command the auditor general also at in office. Taben ne kwa kofera president of Ghana.
Wow. Interesting.
What I say?
Yes.
Because now the vice president maybe. Not vice president.
Oh, not vice president.
Sorry,
not
vice president. Yes,
no.
In
fact, say vice president.
I'm sorry, four. President, the vice.
Yes, and a
speaker, and a chief justice.
Chief justice.
And Nipa four. The next president of Ghana, auditor general. And she's an Kobe by one 400 drum koya.
But another observation. Before say I may go into details of that. So the nini etishi area no, okolapse area no. You could see say na ne chenda social no.
Oh, send the chenda na ntu. So I don't know force my channel. I channel decide say ntu meaning say we good military ntu no a share cheni ye.
But the na hit su. I mean, so, but that people also felt to say, "Naki so much to the channel," because at that point in time, he wasn't of himself.
I'm just we have ventilation.
Yes.
Say Brunia.
I remember me say, "KTM no compare them."
Okay, one call send you responding to emergency because only medical team be out there.
But if for by, I mean, ambulance for by.
Ambulance for by.
Within short period.
Within short period, that's okay. But I'm saying, say, all these things, you know, now, they say, medical team, no, you have more small back seat. No more chamber anymore. They are ready with their defibrillators to shock them, to defibrillate them in case somebody has that a shock.
Okay.
And now a Brunia or top form, no, yeah, they believe you in a rank. Brunia come to change the rank and no training. You have to empty him. I say, on your bare chest, no to me CPR. I didn't see anybody.
It took more than 10 minutes before they could do that. And I saw it.
That's what I mean.
Directly.
Papa, they should have. Oh, we didn't, you know.
Wow.
American, yeah, fuck the shit out of it. I'm sorry. Why didn't we turn uniform no crowd to go? The body, the human being, uniform can always be fixed. Uniform can be gone and so the back and say uniform run. You attend the rank. Joking paradise. But what I say? You be a parliament, you know. What is said this issue? I expect. So the first topical issue would have been that story and that encounter of what happened during the Sona. And for that matter, the Speaker of Parliament and the speakers, the Parliament, the ranking members, both sides would have raised that issue. At the same Parliament, no police for no market. How come, sir, such a thing has happened? It could have happened to the president. It could have happened to the speaker. It could have happened to any other president. Look at the response and the security. But what I say? And think a parliament, that should have been the first thing that they have to make sure and ensure say, they are passing a bill, even though they have already the medical team. But they should structure the medical team well. Now, what is called assigned entities.
Okay.
BBC, who comes in? BBC, who are the first point of call? BBC, who are the first team to go closer? Majority, I say.
I see.
And then how would the president be protected in the pandemonium? More exposed to president. So he was in wilderness.
That is
so and
true. That's so true. And then two quick questions.
Go ahead.
President Babe Frisuno, we heard and we saw so many national security operators, some of the presidents, some of them, a bit more strike near there, a bit more I mean, tabletop 1,500 Ghana cedis. Some of the police officers were complaining, the military were also complaining. Our Flagstaff House. Some of them, it took a government official be to say, I don't want to mention names, but some government official be now, I mean, go in the Coco rescue the situation. Whilst near Campo others, Blue Gates, the Ministry of the National Security Ministry, now say, I might be free sooner, all these security issues next at the Poppy Bar. Does it have any implication?
Okay, first of all, what happens? We don't have a clear cut of a security administration at the presidency, apart from, say, your director of operations. But your police administration, our presidency.
Yeah.
But the Okano, it bothers on, say, your presidency, no. Sorry to say. Anybody that feels, say, he knows somebody or closer to the government, Otimi, Asian uniform, Krakotanaobi. The national security, only the coordinator of all security operations, especially at the presidency, supported by the Presidential Protection Force, supported by the police administration, that's the security community at the presidency. Omunam Bayese. Who are they? You brought boys, and Omunagu a car park hall, and everybody call himself national security personnel. Or badge, only badge, but it is identified as KB or JB. And see that be also ran up, Otimi woman himself, Ekokotna presidency obi. And at what point in a French culture, at what point in any civilized culture, say President be called, now you a team, call themselves, say, you're security operatives, our presidency, you 8 years. What makes Kayam call? It's very shameful, eh?
And at the point, they had to block the president.
I said,
from moving.
It's very shameful. Wow. His Excellency President Mama, over to you. The National Democratic Congress also have done that in the past. They've done it President Mills' time. They've done it President Mama's time. Those who go out there to hang at the presidency. The only president, in my view, was President Kufuor. Because PNM didn't allow.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
They had sanity, they had respect, and they made sure, say, whoever comes to the presidency must be enlisted as part and parcel of the security coordinating list or team.
Okay.
And Sadiano, President Mama, emphanye the top agenda. Now on submit it to the national security, say, may the only 25 people and the presidency, may the only 10 and the do operations. With only 5, and this is the clear-cut number. Na nipa me brebe na omkugu car park hall presidency no. No. These are the people. President ni ko ahane sunyane a na omo ankasa on their own. Otu the car no the presidential convoy nachi just to be part of it because omkoba ni ache skadia momo. So that thing, the office of the chief of staff. Because normally, the chief of staff budget, you don't need to do that. You cannot do that as a country. We can practice those kind of jokes and continue to feel, say, we are having a governance. No.
All right. Finally, my question. Obey available as several Mahama should in case a person from Abebuano as a diplomatic, an international diplomatic consultant.
What's the
maybe so.
Well, send me again.
Obey available.
Send me available, provided I'll not be as NDC or MPP employed or any person to serve. I can serve as a Ghanaian.
Okay.
But let me put something on record. There are things that we've done on the back that didn't come out.
Okay.
And I'm saying this because President Mahama is back as a president. Somewhere around 2015, 2014, now President Mahama and Buhari, because of good luck, exiting. Now rift kakra, but then there was discomfort.
Yeah.
Let me put it that way. Better word to choose. Buhari ebufui because Nigeria Energy Minister designing. Na wama Ghana ya yusu gas near the Kani in Chia. And we had an arrangement through certain company I can put on air. And near Chia gas in a car. Tina Kanason. Buhari at a point and lawyer then and or two Ghana gas. But what they say, supply to Ghana. Because Buhari was the energy minister throughout his 8 years in India. One energy minister. Nigerian President Buhari was Nigerian oil minister throughout his 8 years.
Oh, I see.
And to know as an oil minister, and or two gas.
Watching the ball.
Or two gas. Minister of Foreign Affairs at that time was Madam Henrietta.
Yeah.
Minister of Energy was Boa.
Amakofi Boa.
Kofi Abujinapo.
Yeah.
President was Republic was President Mahama. It was difficult to go to Buhari because we had a problem with him. And in this case, Nigerian Ministry of Oil, Ministry of Oil was at the presidency, Aso Rock, and on what on the gas. Say Ghana didn't care you try gas. I took Ghana to Aso Rock. Mene, the late Michael Obobi, who was an aide to the president. And I'm saying this because President Mama is back to power. I'm saying this on record for the first time publicly. I'm not the foreign minister of Ghana. I was not the energy minister. The energy minister, the foreign minister, except the president who knew what was going on. Intimidate Michael Obobi, I didn't call Nigeria. When I was taking him to Nigeria, Virgin Nigeria flight ticket was sponsored by myself. Oh. We went to sleep at a Grafton Hotel in Wusetu near the Aso Rock. It was my money that I paid for my own room. Marco Bobi paid. I took Marco Bobi to Nigeria presidency. When we went to the Aso Rock to go and see Buhari, Alhaji Minor, Commander Manu, Director Intelligence of Nigeria Army Commander, my good self, and then Alhaji Mekano, who was the AO, Administrative Officer of Buhari. President Mama is a president, he knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. When I took Marco Bobi in there, and when we went to Mekano, we went to sit in Buhari's office and told him, say, this is the situation. I said, yes, he's aware. He raised an issue, upbeat, but this is not an issue. He jokingly said, say, I swear in no. His Excellency President Mama, Ninu Aketwa, or no bear head of state in the 80s, and was in Sanya Bukrana and Ninu Aketwa. But Roman said, a good luck no choir on woman himself. Time yes, I did not President Mama. Ako in Lorraine University, our Nigeria, no Koji Award. So Buhari jokingly told us, say, he's the president of Nigeria, and in Gobetima Loco, the airspace. Yeah. Now President Mama Nyako MP. He jokingly said, so I brokered the deal in Buhari's office with the late Marco Bobi, with a large minor, a lady who crew my friend Lovia Boatin, she knows about what I'm talking about. And Sana Buhari said, Ghana yen Triebi. Into the amount that even we proposed to pay about $10 million, we ended up giving $3 million. But Buhari had told Marco Bobi, say, because of you, please Mekano, see to it. And to know president or minister, no, Mekano could draft a letter, no, and was Sadi Buhari, and was signed before Ghana could make a deposit. Wow. Maybe I went with my own money, I came back with my own money. I like to serve and do things for the country, not necessary to serve any government in the name of